Welcome into the Press Box Fantasy Football Show. Glenn Clark, Paul Valley, but most importantly, your lovely and talented host, Ken Zalis. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How you doing?
All right. We have upped the ante with Underdog Fantasy Football.
We have.
This is unbelievable.
Oh, please do.
So, if you haven't signed up yet for Underdog Fantasy Football, first of all, what the hell are you waiting for? I feel like Jay-Z. What the hell are you waiting for? But as it turns out, you were waiting for something good because the offer is insane now.
Oh.
Here's the deal. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog app, and whatever you deposit, up to $100.
Wow.
We will match when you use the code PRESSBOX for you to play with for free. So if you deposit $50, you're getting $50 free to play with. You deposit $100, you're getting $100 free to play with Underdog Fantasy Football. For people that don't know about Underdog, Ken, what should they know about it?
It's the way fantasy football should be. It's not. You can play it how you want to play it. You can do prop bets, from two different teams. You can up to 5 different prop bets. You can win 20 times your money. You can do rivals. You can say, okay, in tonight's game, who's going to have more rushing yards, Edmonds or Connor? And there may be a plus for one of the players,
sure.
Something like that. You can play that way. You can play a draft against, anywhere from 2 to 10 other players for the week and have just a fantasy football little mini 1-week league and win money that way. It's a lot of fun. Not only fantasy football, but you can also do the NBA. I've had a ball the last couple of nights. I just put an NBA lineup in while we were waiting for the show to start. Do Major League Baseball while that's still going through the World Series. Hockey, if that's your thing. So lots of ways to play, lots of ways to win. And I've had a ball with it. And now with it, there's really zero reason now. You could have said, well, I could have gotten 25 at first, then you're only given 10. Well, now we're matching up to 100. Wow, that's big news.
UnderdogFantasy.com, and again, use the code PRESSBOX, and you will get your deposit matched up to $100 with Underdog Fantasy Football. All right, KZ, a lot to cover this week. Let's start with the more generic, and then we'll get into some questions. And I begin in Philadelphia, where... Are we turning our lonely hearts to Kenneth Gainwell at this point?
I guess there's some Boston Scott will be thrown in there as well, but Philly really hasn't shown any interest in using running backs this year. So you got to.
Sounds like you're a bit apprehensive about.
Look, I understand the way the landscape is and things like that, but you only have 2 teams on bye. I'm not overly excited. I'm not throwing. He's a flex-worthy guy for me this week.
Where do you have both he and Boston Scott?
So I have Boston Scott. Ooh, where do I have Boston Scott? He's down there. I have Boston Scott 45th right now. So he's pretty well down there. But I don't know what they're going to do with him. If he's the between the tackles guy, they haven't shown any interest in using any running back all year between the tackles. So... we've had Sanders with 2 carries in a week, so why would I have Boston Scott, confidence in him? A little bit more with Gainwell. I'll probably have him around 23 when it's all said and done, so he's barely in the running back 2, scope for me. But, if you were going to say to me that I'd rather start Zach Moss over him, who I have ranked a little bit lower right this moment, I'm not going to argue with you. Zach Moss could be the goal line guy.
Sure.
They've shown, they'll give him some touches. Philly's a tough offense outside of Hurts to trust anyone. We like Goddard, but, the volume still, even without Ertz last week, what did he get? 3-4 targets. So it's a weird offense for me.
Let's talk about the Green Bay situation tonight.
Do we have to?
Well, we do obviously have to. What Green Bay wide receiver will you be playing, or would you consider playing with Devontae Adams? And is Valdez-Scantling's out too? Correct?
Well. I think Valdez-Scantling is supposed to play.
Oh, okay. All right.
They brought him back from IR.
Okay.
I think they have until this afternoon to activate him.
So I would presume that if he plays, you're playing him.
Well, yeah. Again, I'm not overly excited. If I'm going to choose one guy to play from the wide receiver core, I'm probably playing Randall Cobb.
Okay.
if I have to. But I'm not overly excited. Tanyan probably moves up in my rankings a little bit this week. I think you're going to see them use a lot of Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon and even the kid Hill, who came in last week and showed some burst. He's shown well when he's played. I have a tough time thinking that you're that desperate in any league right now that Valdez-Scantling or St. Brown, who could be available. Didn't they draft a rookie as well that could be active today?
Amari Rogers?
Rogers? Yeah, they got Rogers. So
I really liked Amari Rogers,
I do too.
Of course, the son of Ravens assistant T. Martin.
Correct.
Yes.
But I think if you're looking for something with some upside, in a PPR situation, I think Cobb is.
Where do you have him ranked?
I don't know. You asked me all these questions.
Well, you're the one that makes the rankings, Ken.
I do, and they were so good last week.
Proctor confirms that Valdez-Scantling did travel with the team.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. I have Cobb at 47 right now. He'll go inside the top 40 with my update today because of some injury stuff and things like that. But and I did this before we had the exact confirmation on Adams that he wasn't traveling with the team. So he'll be flex worthy for me.
Okay.
You could do worse this week, especially if all the Giants.
But you're not going anywhere past Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb is the extent.
No, I mean, Scantling is more of a prop bet type thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not using him in daily fantasy.
All right.
Or year long.
It looks like we're getting Jerry Jeudy.
We are
this week.
Yeah, firing him up. Unless something happens in practice today or tomorrow. We're good.
So this is my struggle because I like Jerry Jeudy.
I love Jerry Jeudy,
but he plays for the Broncos. Yeah. So exactly how much faith could I possibly have in Jerry Jeudy?
I mean, you're going to have him as a wide receiver 3 or a flex guy. Right now, I have him 33, so I have him in the wide receiver 3 category. You got to like the matchup. I mean, before the season, we probably wouldn't have liked the matchup.
Yeah, we thought Washington's defense was supposed to be good. What happened to that?
Awful. They're not rushing the passer or secondary, which they made some additions to. Has just been they've been awful, and I don't know why they're so awful. Somebody suggested to me that they're just everybody's on an island. They're not playing together as a defense, and everybody's just free flow, and it's not working. Like, okay, I haven't watched them close enough, but they're giving them a ton of yards in the passing game. You're not getting the pass rush that you thought you were going to get from them. So, and Jeudy is the underneath guy, so if he does get rushed, Jeudy is the guy they're going to dump the ball off to more times than not. Sutton's going to be still the more of the downfield big play guy. So I like Jeudy this week. I think you can start him as a wide receiver 3 and expect. I mean, he's healthy. I mean, if you're activating somebody who's practicing fully and he's been out, he's ready to go.
If I'm activating Jeudy from my IR and now I have an IR spot available, is there someone sitting on and it's not Michael Thomas because I've already checked. I guess we're not. I'm not supposed to be asking specifically for me. I'm supposed to be asking broadly. Presumably, Michael Thomas is the first name that you're checking for
you're checking
at this
if
point.
He's there.
But beyond that, is there anyone else that might be worthy of taking your IR spot now with Jerry Jeudy if you activated him all?
I would. And I'm only going this because I saw it and I'm mad at myself that I missed it because I'm usually pretty good at watching the waiver wire, but I saw people drop Kareem Hunt.
Really?
I saw people you have to understand what last week was.
Yeah, the buys, and they were all good teams.
I picked up Julio Jones. Okay? I think that Dawson Knox, if your tight end situation is such, was dropped last week in places. I would be looking at things like that. I don't think there's anybody that is like a big name that we haven't discussed that's coming back anytime soon. But I would look for guys that just last week, go search your transaction history, and because they don't pop up in like the ESPN or like that because they always rank people by how many points they're going to score in this week. Well, they're not going to score any points because they're on IR. So you got to go look deep, and you just got to search by name, and things like that. So those are a couple guys that I have seen dropped that Sure, if they're available, I would activate Jeudy and put them on my IR spot.
So we didn't have the conversation last week because it's so uncomfortable. I don't like talking about the Deshaun Watson thing. I hate it. In fact, I really hate having this conversation. I presume he has to be rostered.
No.
And no.
Okay. Look. I get all the news, but you gotta find the people that are more inside of it than anything. And Josina Anderson, I don't know if many people.
She's very plugged in, yeah.
Very plugged in. And she said it's not as close as everybody thinks. It's like the compensation for the trade between Miami and Houston is settled. Everybody agrees on it. But Miami is not pulling the trigger on it until they get more information about the legal woes. That's where we come into a problem. Nobody has that information. The lawyers are silent. The NFL, I mean, everybody wants to pick on Roger Goodell, and I know it's an easy target. But if lawyers and courts are not talking to anybody, I don't know what you want the NFL to really do about it.
Well, not let him play.
Well,
would be a good place to start.
But if you're doing an investigation, you can't investigate it. But I don't think he plays this year. So I'm not telling people not to roster him, but I'm certainly not telling people to go out and say he must be rostered.
So it sounds like what you're saying is, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. It sounds like what you're saying is if you've got the roster spot, sure, but you're saying there might be a better way to use that roster spot.
I mean, this week's not a bad week because there's two teams, but there's a lot of 4-team buys coming up. Injuries happen. Yeah, if you wanna throw them on your roster, let's say Saturday, you have everything set, and Saturday, Deshaun Watson's there. I'm going to throw him on my roster, and if something breaks over the next 5 days because the trade deadline is Tuesday.
Yep.
I have him, sure, no problem. But just anybody picking him up thinking he's going to save your fantasy season, that it's just not happening.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, I certainly hope you're right about that because it's insane to me the thought they're going to let Deshaun Watson play this year. But
I agree.
But I get it. He's Deshaun Watson.
This is a game. We have to play the game to win, and I get it. If somehow he does play, yes, he's a top 10 quarterback. Blah, 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 blah.
Right, the whole deal. All right, every seat is the best seat at M&T Bank Stadium. Don't miss a moment of Ravens football this season. Single game tickets are now available at BaltimoreRavens.com/tickets. By the way, just on the topic we were just talking about, someone just asked if Will Fuller was the guy that was worth using an IR spot on.
No.
Okay, there you go. So there's the answer to that. Anything else broadly we needed to cover before we get into the questions?
No, let's get into questions because everything was broad last week because we didn't know anything.
All right, very good. When we come back in, we will answer your questions. Get them in at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter or put them right there in the comments on Facebook Live. We will answer your questions and get you set for Week 8. By the way, do you start feeling sad around now? I start feeling very...
Week 10 is where...
Okay, Week 10 for you? Oh, I start feeling...
Sad, no.
When I realize we're approaching the halfway point of the season, like we're halfway through...
Well, you're not halfway through anymore.
Well, you're basically halfway through.
Week 9,
fine. All right, fair enough. Get out of here. No. We'll come back and get you set for Week 8 of fantasy football season next. It's the Pressbox Fantasy Football Show.
Need to hone your computer skills to boost your career? Or maybe you want an IT certification? CCBC Continuing Education has the courses and programs you need for a career in the computer field. And it's all tuition free. From the basics to specialized training, we have the classes you need from hardware to programming to cybersecurity and so much more. It's your choice. It's your career. Call 443-840-4700 or visit ccbcmd.edu/computer training.
Glory Days Grill's popular Oktoberfest menu is back, and it features their delicious chicken schnitzel, 2 chicken cutlets, hand-breaded in herb panko and pan-fried until golden brown, served with mustard cream sauce, mashed potatoes, and roasted vegetables. Their menu also includes your favorites like the Oktoberfest Brewer's Platter, Brewer's Sausage Sandwich, Prussian Pretzel Rolls, Slam Dunk Pretzels, and Apple Cobbler. All of these meals pair well with their many Oktoberfest beers and Angry Orchard on draft. craft. Dine on their patios or in their dining room, or order online at glorydaysgrill.com and pick up your favorites to take home. Glory Days Grill has been proud to serve the community for the last 25 years. Thank you, fans.
If you change lanes and brake suddenly in front of my tractor trailer, I won't be able to stop. Our lives could change forever. Trucks need room to stop. Don't cut it close.
Brought to you by the Maryland Department of Transportation State Highway Administration.
What's up, everybody? This is Tyus Bowser. I can't wait to see you guys for the Tyus Bowser Show this fall. We're going to be taking the show on the road all over the area. You can meet me and my very special guests. If you can't make it out, you can watch the show on live on Pressbox Facebook page or listen the next day. Find out more about where we'll be by checking out PressboxOnline.com/Bowser. We'll see you all season long for the Tyus Bowser Show.
The next Tyus Bowser Show is Tuesday, November 16th at Mother's in Timonium. It's brought to you by Pressbox and Great 8's Memorabilia.
The all-new FanDuel Sportsbook is coming soon to Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover. Maryland, this is your chance to win big right in your own backyard. Bet on every sport with self-service kiosks and watch all of the action from the best seat in the house. Make every moment more at the all-new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
I'm having some problems in my gambling life.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah.
I'm having some, and it's not my. And the problem is, it comes at the time. I've never been hotter. I've never been hotter as a gambler.
Yeah.
So of course I would be having some problems right now in my gambling life. All right, it is the Pressbox Fantasy Football Show. Ken Zalis is here. All right, KZ, let's get to some questions. I always like to begin with me, and then we get to Paul and listeners after that. But I'll start with me. So I'm in my receivers. Obviously, Jamar Chase is playing, but then I've got Calvin Ridley, Cortland Sutton, and Jerry Jeudy, and Jarvis Landry. I have to start two of those for sure.
Wow. Should make a trade.
You think I haven't tried making trades, Ken? All I've tried doing is making trades.
Me too. Nobody will trade with me.
Yes.
Except in our league, where people just want to give me things. Well, we're starting Ridley.
Our league sucks. This starts so many. I'm like, why am I starting this person in a fantasy football league?
But it makes it fun.
God, you got a weird view of the word fun, Ken.
Because it's different.
Yeah, it's different. You're right about that. It's different.
Okay, so we're starting Calvin Ridley.
Okay, so I'm the Sutton, Landry, and Jeudy.
Sutton, Landry, and Jeudy. So we're going to do Sutton.
Okay.
And here's my problem. Like, by ranking, it's Jeudy.
Wait, over Sutton?
No, over...
No, I got three.
Oh,
I now have
you
Jamar
only need
Chase,
two.
Calvin Ridley, and Cortland Sutton.
Okay, you're fine.
Now let's go to flex.
Yeah.
My flex options, because I'm starting DeAndre Swift and Dalvin Cook.
Absolutely.
So my flex options are...
It's a pretty good team.
It's a really good team, and I can't make an effing trade. It's very frustrating. James Robinson, Chuba Hubbard, Khalil Herbert, who I'm starting to buy into might be like the guy in Chicago moving forward, for what it's worth. Landry, Kenneth Gainwell, and Jeudy.
It's always James Robinson.
I was afraid that was the answer.
It's always James
I know that's... I just don't want...
You know that's my default answer.
I know.
Like he's become my James White. It's like the answer is always James Robinson. All he does is produce. I don't... It's a funny thing for me. It's a funny thing for me with James Robinson because I get tons of questions. Like, people don't want to treat him like an RB1.
Oh, I know, because he's
an RB1.
But it's because it's Jacksonville.
But he's an RB1.
But you just never know when Urban Meyer is going to decide that he's dead.
Playing Seattle.
I hear you. Denver defense against Washington or Atlanta defense against Carolina?
I can't play the Atlanta defense.
All right. I hear you. All right. Very good. Very good. Now, some questions from others. John Proctor gets in. He wants to know, would you run without a Scantling or go Laviska Shenault? Don't seem so excited.
Well, see, because the problem with we all wanted to believe in Shenault, and then he had the one game. It's like, oh yeah, is this what we've been waiting for? And then it's been nothing again. So I mean,
you were just saying you don't like the Valdez Scantling either.
I don't, but it's. I mean, if he's going to start tonight, I would probably play. I'm kind of done with Shenault for this year until he shows me something. I'll go Scantling. I don't like either option.
Rashad Penny or Alex Collins?
I mean, if Collins is active, I mean, he's the lead back. So, I mean, I don't like either one, but it's Collins.
Need to hone your computer skills to boost your career, or maybe you want an IT certification? CCBC Continuing Education has the courses and programs you need for a career in the computer field, and it's all tuition-free from the basics to specialized training. We have the classes you need from hardware to programming to cybersecurity and so much more. It's your choice. It's your career. 443-840-4700 or visit ccbcmd.edu/computer training. I'm thinking that Luke is probably thinking too much about this. Says, are you still playing Aaron Rodgers tonight or starting Carson Wentz instead?
Nah, that's a valid question.
Maybe for you. I'm still playing Aaron Rodgers tonight. This is Aaron effing Rodgers we're talking about.
So I still am too.
Yeah.
But I'm not offended by the question this week. I'm not offended by
I don't get offended by much.
I'm not offended by the. Well, there are weeks like I got one this week, and my plan. It's I don't even know who it was versus, but it was like, am I starting Pat Mahomes this week? I was like, come on. I mean, I think it was Mahomes or Daniel Jones. I'm like,
right.
I get it.
Yes.
I get it. It was horrible last week.
Yep.
He's Pat Mahomes. This is.
He would do that for a few more weeks.
Yeah, I mean, this
start.
is QB1 for most of the year.
Yep.
I'm probably still starting Rodgers this week. I get the matchup. Carson's been playing well, but these types of national, Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night games and Aaron Rodgers, just things happen. So I'm gonna still go Rodgers.
All right, Paul, go ahead.
All right, so I have a couple of questions. One is about they're both about my flex, but in two different leagues. In my one league, they downgraded Antonio Brown to doubtful, so I have to choose between, for my flex, Melvin Gordon, Chase Claypool, Kenny Galladay, and Michael Carter.
I'm going to tell you to go Claypool here.
Claypool.
Yeah,
okay.
I just coming off the bye, healthy, no juju, so the more targets funneled his way. I like Gordon, but again, we're in a timeshare, so let's go after the guy that I think is going to get 7 targets or something.
Okay, that's the matchup against my wife, so I need to win.
It is important.
That's a biggie.
It's very important.
All right. The other one.
It's weird. I'm rooting for her. I'm sorry, man. That's the way it goes.
Most people are. She's a wonderful person. For my flex in another league, again, Brown downgraded. So for my flex, Zach Moss, Hunter Henry, or C.J. Uzomah.
We'll go. I always go running back in that situation. I get the other two decent matchup.
You buying into C.J. Uzomah after?
No, I mean he's gonna. He did that one other time this year. One every 5-6 weeks. This is going to pop up. It's just not, the consistency isn't there for me. I know that I'm getting 15 touches at least out of Moss, so I'm going to go with Moss.
All right. Anything else?
That's it for now.
Very good. This is from Dan. Dan wants to know, Allen Robinson got dropped in a league, which, by the way, I understand. Allen Robinson got dropped in his league once. Oh, my God, Allen Robinson got dropped in one of my leagues, too. Oh, this has just become more relevant to me.
Yes, he should be on your roster.
Well, what he's asking is it worth putting in a waiver claim to get him? He says he currently has the 5th waiver claim. Or just wait and see if he clears waivers and then try to pick him up.
He's not going to clear waivers. I mean, in a vacuum, yes, it's the 5th waiver wire. I mean, you're not getting your 1, 2, or 3. Like, you're not, at this point in the season, like, you're not going to get the hot guy that there's a massive injury and all of a sudden he's a starting running back or quarterback. So you're not getting him with the 5th one. So
but if it resets, like, the idea is that you're moving up.
Yeah, but you'll
move,
move up there. I mean, he'll probably wind up around 9th and then he'll move up. Yes. For me, yes.
I'm struggling with it, right? I don't know what I got to figure out what my
It depends
waiver.
who you're dropping. I mean, I'm not mad at people that have dropped Allen Robinson at this point. It's just awful. But here's and I know it's not happening like this week, maybe not next week, but at some point, if it's this bad, Dalton comes back and plays. So it'll get better. Can you wait for it to get better in weeks 13, 14, 15? I don't know. But if you have the room, yes. fifth for me is fine. A fifth waiver wire for me is fine.
Is there any chance that Saquon Barkley is playing and ruining the Devontae Booker fun?
I don't think this week, but next week, yes. But the reports were that he was there yesterday.
That's
They
why
did, like a walkthrough, a little modified because it's a Monday. It's really not an official practice, so there's no official report. But reporters on the ground is like he really wasn't doing anything.
So he's not.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think there's a way he plays this.
All right,
there's no reason for them to play him.
And that being said, the next question is if T.Y. Hilton does not play, am I playing Duke Johnson or Khalif Raymond?
Khalif Raymond, Duke Johnson. Why?
No, maybe he must mean David Johnson.
I was going to say,
didn't Duke Johnson just sign
he
somewhere?
Just signed our practice squad. That's why I was questioning.
Right.
I mean, I get the David Johnson thing because Ingram's now gone. I don't understand Houston's lack of usage with Lindsey. Lindsey's a really good player who was really good in Denver, and they have just ignored him for Ingram, which, okay, fine. But no, I'm still gonna go. I'm still gonna go Raymond. I mean, his usage the last 2 weeks has been really, really good.
I just picked him up in our league.
I picked him up and started him in a league last week.
I might very well need him. I don't know.
The David Johnson thing and all that and going back to the Mark Ingram. Look, Mark Ingram, if you are a Kamara owner, yes, he should be owned by you. If you're not a Kamara owner, I don't know what we're asking him for. 5 carries a week
there's no world in which I would be picking up Mark Ingram.
But if you're a Kamara owner, and we're as you say, we're closer to the playoffs than we are at the beginning of the season in fantasy football now.
Now when it makes me even more sad.
But we are. So you got to start thinking about handcuffs and things like that. So that's the only situation that I'm picking up a Mark Ingram. And if I already owned him, I'm trying to trade him to the Kamara owner.
Right, just see if they'll bite him.
Yeah. See if you can get something useful. Backup, wide receiver. They may want to protect their investment.
Somebody that maybe is hurt, you could pick up somebody like that. No, I agree with that. All right, and from Taylor wants to know Pittsburgh's defense against Cleveland or Chicago's defense against San Francisco.
Pittsburgh against Cleveland or Chicago. I can't use Chicago without Mac. So
Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is the answer. Yeah. All right. Very good. Anything else that's on your radar for this week?
No. I just in most fantasy leagues, the couple of things I just wanted to mention is you should be starting to look now as when your trade deadlines are because they're coming up. I don't know if they're in 2 weeks. I don't know if they're in 3 weeks in your league. But they're not in 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. So start to take a look at that. Start to make your pushes. If you're under 500, you should be looking to make trades every single week. It doesn't mean they're accepted, but you should be looking to make some moves and continue to work the waiver wire. Last week, even now, after waivers this week, everybody should be doing a second check on waiver wires every single week. You never know who's in an injury situation, who's in a bye situation, and who they dropped. I was shocked by some of the people that were on waivers this week.
Kareem Hunt.
I saw him, and I didn't even see him on waivers. All of a sudden, I saw a secondary transaction after waivers ran Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon. Somebody picked him up in the league, and I'm like, that's a big fail for my part. I missed that one. Mm-hmm. So you need to look at the secondary waivers for the week or free agent pickups for the week and see, you never know who's dropped.
Pittsburgh defense or Atlanta defense?
I'm still not starting Atlanta. Atlanta defense doesn't work for me.
You are just not doing it.
I'm not biting on the Atlanta defense. They've been awful.
All right, there's your answer. Don't play the Atlanta defense is what Ken Zalis has to say. Hey, Glory Days Grill's Oktoberfest menu is phenomenal. The chicken schnitzel. Oh, it's so good. The brewer sausage sandwich, the brewer sausage platter, the apple cobbler, the Prussian pretzel rolls, the slam dunk pretzels. They're all there at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill. Find out more by going to glorydaysgrill.com. @FansFantasy on Twitter.
That's where you find me.
If you didn't get a question in, pose it to him. Send it to him at like 3 a.m. That's and then what I would do, send it repeatedly just in case it doesn't wake him up, like the notification doesn't wake him up.
My
if you
phone's
keep
on
doing
silent all night long. You can send it 100 times.
Damn it, that makes me upset. I was really hoping
send it
that was
100 times.
You know. And send it then, and send it to him, and he'll answer your question if he can. That's the way you do it. At PressBoxOnline.com as well to see his rankings and all of that sort of stuff.
DFS just went up today.
Very good. All right, KZ, thank you, pal. We'll see you next Thursday.
Yes.
We'll see you tomorrow morning for GCR. This has been the Press Box Fantasy Football Show.